Hey guys, Brandon with Strict Vision Athletics. Thank you so much for watching this video. Today we're going to be talking about core. So today the emphasis is the abdominals, a little bit of obliques, a little bit done in all planes of motion, the transverse, and of course anything to do with the core is going to be crunch. So let's talk about it. So let's go. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 exercises for this workout. First one's a single set. Second one's a superset, and the third one is a trip set. So that's going to be a heck of a lot of movement. So let's starting with the first one, pure torque cable rotation. So in order to accomplish this, you're going to need the pure torque cable attachment. It's sponsored by Tyreek Hill. You can find it on puretorque.com. It's an incredible transverse plane movement attachment for the cable itself. This is something that you can really implement at the beginning of the workout. This is what I like to start with. It's a nice way to prime the whole muscle region, not just the obliques, but the front abdominals as well, and a little bit of the rectus spinatus in the back. You're going to feel this in all those muscles as you start to move through this. Do this in a set of probably like 12 a side. You want to kind of overload with the repetitions on this one. Just really make sure the core is engaged. Start with a marginal weight. Don't overdo it and just go heavy. You don't want to pull something, your QL or anything related to that. You don't want to have an injury on that site. It's very uncomfortable. But that's the first exercise. The second exercise is actually a superset. So there's 2. So we're doing side bends with a dumbbell and then a transverse plane band twist. So both of these are targeting primarily the obliques, especially the side bends. Starting with the side bends with the dumbbells, this is probably the most accessible exercise in this workout. All you need is a dumbbell set. You're going to hold it with the hand opposite the side of the muscle that you want to contract. So if I want to contract my left oblique, I'm going to be holding the dumbbell with my right hand, and then of course vice versa. When you do this, you want to start from the midline. That means straight spine. Straight spinal position is the starting point. Then I crunch into the deep lateral line with the side that I'm trying to contract, and then I go back to the midline. What I don't do is contract toward the obliques, then go past the midline in the other direction. I see a lot of people doing this in an incorrect fashion. Make sure you stop with a straight spinal column, crunch to the side that you're trying to contract, then come back to that same straight column position. Next, we have the transverse plane band twist. So this can be done in several different ways. You can do this with a cable. This does mimic a similar pattern to the pure torque cable rotation. I specifically did this with a band because if you are doing something with a cable and then you are doing a similar movement pattern with a band, it's going to implement a much more ballistic tempo, if you understand what I mean. You're going to be doing it a lot faster. That's what the band is meant for. You're going to be throwing into that range of motion with the band. It's just very, very good to complement the first motion that you did with the pure torque cable rotation. Now I'm doing it with just a band, so it's lighter, but it's faster. It's also nice to do this after I've done the pure torque cable rotation, so the muscles are primed, less likely to have injury, and just a really nice second exercise for that superset. Next, we have the trip set. So this is 3 exercises, as the word triple indicates. 3 exercises back to back, the elevated crunch from a high angle, the cable crunch, and then the sprinter sit-up using the cinder block. So starting with the elevated crunch, I'm using the Rogue 2.0 bench for this. It's very elevated. You want to find a spot where your knees and your feet can be over your head. That's what an elevated crunch entails. This is somewhat difficult to replicate. You can do this. I've seen people wrap their legs around a punching bag. I've seen people do it from a decline bench. The best way to do this is the way you see me doing it. It's to raise your bench up, put your decline pads in, then do it from that position. I haven't found that many other areas with which you can do something like this, but if you guys find one on your own, then by all means, give it a shot. Let me know and I'm all ears. The second exercise in the trip set is significantly easier to do. It's a cable crunch. That can be done with a rope. I use the spud strap that's specific for this. It's nice because it just goes over my shoulders. It doesn't overbear my elbow joint. A lot of times I find that if I'm holding a rope with my hands over my head when I do a cable crunch, my elbow joint feels a lot of the strain from holding that. As opposed to this, the strap goes around my shoulders, so now my body bears the actual load and my joints don't feel it as much. So I can do the crunch. I'm doing it on the Elite FTS lat pull down, and I'm doing it with a pad behind my tailbone up against the machine, crunching forward and engaging the abdominals. This is one of the best ways to burn out the abdominals, just without anything else with it. And that's why I did it here at the end, just to make sure that it does it. If that doesn't do it, That's the third exercise in the trip set is actually the sprinter sit-ups. I love using the Cinder Fit blocks for the resistance on these. I think they just sit very nicely on your chest. They're light enough to where you can kind of move with them and keep them on your body, as opposed to doing like a dumbbell or a medicine ball. This is just very, very nice. It's a good form of resistance. Make sure when you do this, sit up and alternate, elbow to knee. Right elbow, left knee, back to the ground, left elbow, right knee, back to the ground. That's all together one repetition. So you need to have an understanding that if I say do 10, that really means like 20, because it's up, sit up, elbow to knee right, sit up, elbow to knee left, all together is one rep. So 12 repetitions is what I call for here. That means 24 reps total. Take that as you will. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you guys have any questions or concerns.